think I've just screamed down the whole of the UK.
Perfect, perfect.
Ben, how are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm living the dream, as I said before, living
I
the
know,
dream.
right? I'm awesome. Thank you for your patience. We had a little bit of a malfunction. It's worse than a woman trying to say that her bra's fallen down. But in my case, the screen decided not to like me. But we have got you
Well then.
fantastic, and we don't. I've never gone late on a Saturday before. So and I'm going to kill you, Ben, because Arsenal is playing Manchester United, and I'm a football fan, and I'm missing it. It's all your fault.
Who are they? Like, are they like pub team players, or what? I've never heard of any of them teams. Who are they? Any good? Never heard of them.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I love it. Who are they? Who are they?
Yeah, that's it. Too right. Like
So
it.
I'm tapping into all the Arsenal supporters' time, which boo. Sorry, I'll try and put my professional head on. Folks, as you can see at the ticker tape at the bottom, I have the one Jones. Now, I'm going to come to why we call him Duracell, or why someone's nicknamed him Duracell, and it's stuck with him forever. Um, but, you know, thank you so much for joining. And before I even start on the show, I always, always, always send out positive affirmations to everyone. So it's a good day, good evening, good night, good morning to anywhere around the world, that anyone who's only just tuning in and watching this probably a year later or 2 years later, we're sending out nothing but positive affirmations and good vibes. Agree with me. Oh, I can see a wonderful boxer. He's got. Oh, I love his office. Can everyone? I'm going to ask you about that picture in the background. That's not Sugar Ray, is it? I'm getting
It
excited.
sure is.
All
Sugar
right, let me
Ray and
calm down.
Rocky, look.
Let me calm down. Let me just calm down.
Okay.
Love
I
your
can't see him.
office.
I'm Rocky.
Oh, and Rocky. Oh, we got to have a bit of Rocky,
I am
don't
Rocky.
we? I'm. I
Got to have a
am.
bit
I
of
am.
Rocky as well.
Absolutely. I am non-traditional. What you see is what you get. So you're on my Standing in My Truth Sports Edition show. Ben, please say a big hello to everyone out there in cyber world.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for watching. Hope you get to know the real me.
Oh, we're gonna. By the time I'm finished, they will. Definitely. I'm going to jump straight in, and I know that, and you know, there's a lot to cover today, even though there's a football in there. But I know that you've got your heart set on football as well. So, Ben, I know that from what I've read, you're Crawley bred and born. Where were you born? You know, born, and where do you come from? Give me a big synopsis about that.
Well, I was born in Crawley, and lived all of my childhood in Crawley. So Crawley's my hometown, as I always look at that as hometown. I moved from there to Red Hill, which is
Oh,
it's just on the edge of Surrey.
yeah.
Um, and I said recently, 8 years ago, I moved out to a place called Dorking, and a little area of Dorking called Capel, which is
Oh,
a
Dawkins,
nice little country area.
lovely.
Keep out of the way.
Oh my God,
Keep out of the
Dawkins.
way from everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dorking's lovely though.
But
I've
it's
been to
lovely, yeah.
Dorking. They got that there's a beautiful
Oh yeah,
hotel at the top, and it overlooks all of Dorking and Surrey. And it's just got the most amazing place where you can get married, the hills, and I'm not going to name it because that means I'm
yeah.
name dropping, but it's just I've just spent some glorious times in there. And I kept saying, if I got married, that's where I'm going to get married, right there in Dorking.
Don't do it. You're mad. Don't do it.
Okay, folks. Ben told me that I can't get married. Okay, I'll hold him to that.
That's it.
So, any of
That's
my
it.
suited in. Did you hear what I just said? Any of my suited intenders out there, don't listen. That is really wrong on every level. Anyway, back to you. Back to you. Because before I know it, you'll be interviewing me. Um, ben,
Yeah.
growing up, tell me a bit about your childhood growing up. And when I say
Childhood,
that, you
for
know,
me,
your parents and, you know,
Cool. So, mum and dad were both together all through my childhood. I had a really good childhood. You get a lot of people that say how bad their childhood. My childhood was great. I had and got everything I possibly could need. I was never spoiled. We were never rich. We were never poor. We were just an average family. I was the hyperactive kid. Um,
I could imagine
that
actually.
yeah, I was. Half the name Duracell is partly from. We'll get into that
We're
later,
gonna
but
get
there we
into that.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
I done every sport under the sun. I played football for Fulham, so I was a good footballer. Played for the county. I was a decent player, but also I did cross country for the county. I did athletics for the county.
Oh
I did
wow.
rugby for the county. I just had to play every single sport. That was just me. It was in my blood, and I had to do everything. So obviously I pushed on with was boxing and football. They were my
Well,
two
coming
main
to that,
sports.
don't
I
even go.
loved all the
Don't,
other sports. Don't get me wrong.
don't. I'm gonna ease you into that. I want to ease you. Now,
No,
what surprised when you were
cool.
telling me you're playing football and blah blah. As I keep saying, feed me, feed me. So let me feed myself. So growing up, was anybody else? What about? Have you got siblings?
I've got a sister. She's 2 years younger than me. Um, and strangely enough, probably because of myself, she is fantastic at sport and steered clear. She was the fastest in Crawley Town sports. She would have been very, very talented. She's very tough and avoided everything. She I had for sport, which I enjoyed, pressure of sport which you get, and she see it as a negative, which I see everything
Oh,
as a
bless
positive,
her.
and she see it as a negative. So she went against it in some ways, which is a real shame
Oh,
because my sister was very talented. I've never seen a box or nothing, but
yeah,
she's rough and tough on the street and stuff. But not that she's a fighter's person,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But she excelled in different ways. She's an NHS nurse, really high up and doing really well. So she's a whole different character than
Oh,
I am, you know.
wow.
Very
And what
different.
about your parents? Were they sporty? Did they do anything? You know?
Hugely in sport. My dad's a good sprinter. Was a decent footballer. He's your rough and tough side, the side that come. Crawley's an overspill of London, so their family will come down from London. It's an overspill, you know. So
Okay.
um, they were the rough and tough side. My mum's side were actually brought up very well, but her dad was a champion boxer. So there's the other side.
Who? Who?
But my mum's very sporty too.
Hold on a minute. Stop
That's it.
skipping.
She was very good at athletics and stuff.
Hold on. Her dad was a
I
champion
can't keep
boxer.
still, as you'll probably notice.
Go on. Who's the boxer? Who was her dad?
Right, my granddad. Oh, don't get me wrong. He'd have been 90s now. You know, well in his 90s. So he was a champion in the forces. Which imagine when he comes to 16, he had to go straight to war. So he was that age. So his whole main side of
Oh,
but he was the
wow.
champion of his weight, and in them days, your forces you had to box. There was no
Yeah. Yeah.
there was no that is what you had to do, and he was good, very good. And I've had many people through my life, a lot of old boys that used to come and watch me and say your granddad boxed just like you,
Oh,
and your granddad was
wow.
fantastic. You know,
What
so
was
it
his
was a real
name? Do you
nice.
mind sharing? Share his name. What was
Yeah,
his name?
Malcolm Jenner, his name was. Bless him. I mean, to be honest, he's been gone now. Good, good 25 years now. Bless him.
Doesn't
But he
matter.
was a
He's
massive part of my
doesn't matter.
childhood boxing. Massive
Yeah.
part.
Love that. I love that. See, that is a part of you that's not written anywhere. Or, well, I'd rather do my
That's,
homework than tell anybody that I knew that because I didn't.
yeah,
So I
I'm going to be
love
honest with
that.
you.
I
That's
love
probably the
that you've
first time that's
shot.
ever come up.
Oh, really? I love it.
Yeah,
I've
you
dug
go.
it out of you. So, oh my
There
God.
you go.
Rest your soul, Mr. Jenner. It's great to hear that you had. So really, that's where I was going to ask the next question is, where did the boxing come into this? You know, so here you've told me
Yeah.
that you had this wonderful growing up in every sport. So you sprinted and, you know, I'm surprised you didn't tell me that you javelin threw, or you did long jump, or you did. I'm waiting for you to tell me that
I
you
did
bloody
long
did pole
jump.
jumping. Don't even. Don't even. But before we get to the boxing, then, did football come before the boxing, or did the boxing come first? Which one?
Oh, do you know what? That was very much touch and go. It was
Oh,
touch and go. As
how?
a young kid, well, because I was at Fulham, I was playing. I was a decent footballer. I had England trials. I was a good footballer. So it really, in some ways, my passion was football. And I was at Fulham when Kevin Keegan, Ray Wilkins,
Oh,
bless his
wow.
soul,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
our fire took over. You see, and our youth
Yes.
development officer was Alan Smith, which is old Arsenal. We're playing now, and football changed with at Fulham. Fulham were your average team to become. They're working their way up to the Premiership, so
Yeah.
they were great. And I was still there, and they chucked out pretty much all of my friends, all through, and I was there with only a very few others. So football at the time was my sport, and it only got to that point where obviously I got released from Fulham. I went to Exeter afterwards, which were a lower league.
What
There was no
age?
no
What
real
age were
money.
you? What age?
16, 17, so I was a young kid,
Right,
and you
right.
try and get to Exeter as at that age, you had to rely on your parents, which again, lovely for the parents to be helping me with that. Um, I went down there, and they couldn't afford for me to always be there. So, not
That's a
my mum and dad,
trek.
not the club couldn't afford me to stay there the whole time. So they were doing it as they were coming to watch me at my local clubs, and I play every now and again. And it weren't for me. And I said, right, I'm knocking it on the head. I played semi-professional football at the time. I was playing for a team called Whiteleaf, which were there and there, but they were a league below the Vauxhall Conference. I was only a kid. I was only 18, so I was there or thereabouts myself. But I started concentrating on the boxing, pushed the
And when
football to
was
the side a
that? Was
bit.
that while you were playing semi-professional?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and then in the end, I made the decision. I actually, this is another thing that's not come up yet. I actually um, got my cartilage went on my knee, so I ended up having an injury, and I went back to boxing instead of football to train myself up,
Ah,
get me
is that what
strong again.
happened? Okay.
And my boxing went. I was always a decent boxer. I was always in the top, about the, at least the top 10 in the country. I was always there, and then as soon as I concentrated, I was one of the top three in the country. So
And
I
that was
thought,
in the amateurs. Was that the amateurs, right? Because
this
obviously
is
it's
the
the
amateurs.
amateurs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
is the amateurs. Yeah.
So you had the
So
when you had the injury rough about when? When was the injury? About
well, I must have been 18 years old. Yeah, so I
oh
was young,
wow.
young.
So that injury cut short a budding football
Could have
career, would you say? And then
could
you
have
went
been.
into the
Yeah, that's
gym.
right.
Did you go into boxing to sort of get fit again?
Well, strangely enough, I was always boxing as well as football. See, I always looked at it as the football would help my boxing would help my football. I was always tiny.
Right.
I was not a big lad, but I was still one of the strongest on the pitch because my
Right.
upper body strength was very good. So my boxing helped my football, but I thought of it as helping it to get me back to football. Went back into boxing more so more full time, and actually thought I'm actually very good at this. I'm going to stay at this, and
See,
stayed
now
where I was at
you're
Fulham.
answering all my questions here. Before I can even get to them, he's now going, because my question to you was going to be, what made you feel that you could actually transform into a boxer? What was it? Who
Mm.
inspired you? Who did you have behind you to tell you that?
Do you know what? My family backed me on everything I did, which was very nice. They always backed whether whether I'd have been a ballerina, they'd have backed me. They were that type of parents. They pushed me into it.
Oh, you need
So
to
it
take.
was
I
it
need to
was
take that
lovely.
image out of my head. Sorry, I'm just trying to find you
I'd
pirouetting in a
look
tutu.
lovely in a tutu.
Yeah,
Come
in a
on, you
tutu.
know that. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I I always boxed as well as played football. I did everything always together. There was one of them. But as soon as I stuck and concentrated just on one, things changed.
Oh,
I think
okay.
my next amateur fights, I think I won 8 or 9 in a row against in boxing, in amateur boxing. You're boxing people at your level always, so I was constantly moving up. Um, so I started doing well, and I thought, you know what, I can actually do amateur boxing as well at the time. Strangely enough, was point scoring, so it
Yes.
wasn't really suited my style, and because it's more of a 6'1" southpaw would be great. You know, tapping you on the head. That's the point. See, in my game, I was rough and tough. I wanted to get forward and get in the pocket, which didn't really count for amateur boxing. But I still done very well. Still got to top 4 in the country a few years in a row. So still there or thereabouts. So I had some fantastic. I had
Was you boxing at the same weight?
me.
What weight were you then in amateurs?
I was a lightweight as in the amateurs, but so I was there with Amir Khan, Frankie Gavin, and
Oh,
Anthony
oh my
Crowler.
God, Frankie
They were
Gavin.
my.
Yeah.
There you go. Me, Frankie Gavin, Amir Khan, and Anthony Crowler. Well, if you look at them, they've all and myself, we've all been there or thereabouts fighting
Yeah.
for world titles.
Yeah.
Amir Khan's won a world title.
Yeah.
Frankie Gavin's there or thereabouts. Anthony Crowler's won a world title
Yeah.
himself.
Anti-crawlers.
So
I see when I first came, finding out about you boxing back, way back, I would probably say you were on my radar like something like 2011.
yeah,
It's the same around the same time as Anthony Crowler. So I've grown up with watching you guys. I wasn't so much Amir
that's right.
Khan, but it was like, proper, like super featherweight guys in that era, that
Yeah,
division
sort of there.
and
That's
coming
right.
up, and because America thought that they had it all, but we had some really good
Fantastic
boxers,
fighters.
you
Yeah,
know,
we did.
yeah. And so that's what I saw with
In them
you.
days as well, we didn't pump the money in as much as we did
No,
now,
yeah,
which made the difference. I mean, you now look when as soon as Eddie Hearn hit the scene, it he pumped the money in, which made the
yeah,
advertising.
yeah,
See, if I
yeah.
would have been what I'd done early doors,
I'm coming
I'd
to
have
that
been
because I'm
good
going to
for making
ask
all the money
you.
as well.
Yeah, don't, because there's something I'm going to ask you about that. So that exactly, don't divulge too much. Let's build this story. Let's feed me. Let's feed the public here, without giving
Right.
them too much too soon. And I don't want to hear about the football scores because someone's texting me at the moment. The football scores, they can naff off.
Oh,
Um,
cheers.
but so here you are in the amateurs, and from what I've the history that I can see, your first pro fight was that
Yeah,
2006.
could have well been. Makes me feel old myself.
So you turned pro. I mean, fully turned pro.
yeah,
Fully turned pro in 2006. And
yeah,
I know you did, right? I remember you fought your first fight that you did fight was
yeah.
with Carl Allen, and
That's right.
yeah, it was with Carl Allen, and that was your first fight, and you won on points. You actually
I
won on
did. Yeah.
points, and if I'm, Carl Allen was, look at me telling you what the hell. Carl Allen, Carl Allen had a bit on you before. Do you know what I mean? He had been fighting along, a bit down the line than you. So
Well, I
by the
think he
time,
did about 200 fights.
yeah, God, he had such
Mm,
a career.
mm,
But as much as he had so many fights, he wasn't prolific. God, sorry, Carl, I didn't mean to say that. When I mean
mm,
prolific, it's as you said, in that time, if money was pumped in, maybe. But your debut
mm.
fight, as I said, was with Carl Allen, and you won on
Yeah.
points, which is amazing. Do you know what I'm saying? Take me in from there, because I'm not going to name everybody. When did you actually fight for
Sure.
your first title, and at what weight?
Okay. I fought for a Masters title quite early on. It was about my sixth fight, something like that. That was it was the International Masters, which was my first 10 round fight. Okay,
Yes.
so it helps you progress. I mean, in some ways, people can call it a bit of a Mickey Mouse title, but what it does is it catapults you then into fighting more rounds, so you can start moving on with your career. So then you can move on to your Southern areas, your English titles, your British, and you move on. which is great. So I had my 10 rounds quite early, sort of fifth or sixth fight, which was great. I fought someone that was rough and sorry. My little daughter's come steaming in,
Oh, hello,
trying to
daughter.
get into the photo. Yeah, bless
Hello,
her.
baby. If I
Um,
can see her.
you can't say she's run. Don't worry. Yeah. So so it progressed me on. I moved on, and then the
Who did you
first major
fight? Who
title.
was it that you fought? Do you remember who did you
That
fight?
one was Ibra Riaz. He was rough and tough.
Is
He
it
turned
Riaz?
into a journeyman.
Was it Riaz Durgahead or something like that? Durgad or something like that,
No,
wasn't
it
it?
wasn't him actually. No. I remember fighting him. He actually fought in the Olympics,
That's it.
or
Yeah.
yeah, he was a not a bad boxer, but he didn't have the money and stuff behind him to go into the right things. Um, but yeah, no, Ibra Riaz was
Oh, Ibrat Riaz. Yes, yes, yes.
he's tough. He's a journeyman now. Goes on and fights for money and teaches people the game as such. You know, that's how I look at journeymen. They're there, so they make their money, but they don't get hurt too much. But they know the ring, so they can last the rounds. But when I fought him, it was only his fifth fight, and he was on his way up. He just fought a good lad as amateur. What I thought, I can't remember his name, and got a draw. So he was a good prospect at that time. Um, Obviously, I outboxed him, done my 10 rounds. Had a It was nice. It was good for your fifth round. It was a great learning curve, and then moved on to obviously to the English title, which the English title eventually was the big one in my eyes, and which changed my career. And you move
Yeah,
on from there.
yeah. I've got it all mapped out right here. But so that before we get to that, before it got you on to pushing on to that one, did
Yeah,
you always stay with the same? So when you actually turned pro, so from the amateurs
yeah.
to the pro, did you always have the same training camp, the same
No,
trainer?
no, I didn't. Strange enough, I turned pro. This is another thing actually. You've hit a good nail there because no one else has asked me that question. It's a good question. I actually turned pro, and not many people know this. With Lloyd Hannigan.
Shut up. Sorry.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
right. That's the Essex coming out. So sorry.
There you go.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So Lloyd Hannigan. But don't get me wrong. It was just before I was signing my pro contract. So I trained with him right at the beginning. Lloyd was great trainer.
Wasn't he not
And
part
obviously
of the
Lloyd
Don
took Lloyd
Davies? Was
down.
he with Don Davies at the time? Because he was with his coach was Don Davies, wasn't he?
He was, but it was just him on his own. So I was picking him up from Croydon, and we was driving, strangely enough, to Clinton Mackenzie's gym, um,
Oh yeah.
and that's where we were training. Um, Lloyd's lovely. Lloyd's brilliant, but Lloyd's as mad as that as well. He's
He is,
great,
isn't
but
he?
he's
He
mad,
is.
and but bless him as well. I mean that in a nice way, Lloyd, if you're
Yeah,
listening.
yeah.
But yeah, he trained me. He trained me like a pro, but as a pro, the thing is, in his mind, in my eyes, he was training me like I was fighting for a 12 round fight. I hadn't even actually got my first 4 rounder in. So I'd turn up with him. I'd pick him up. We'd go to Clinton Mackenzie's gym, and we'd do 3.5 hours in the gym. I'd come home. Remember, in them days, I had to still work. So I'd come home at, say, 12 o'clock in the day and have an afternoon of work to do. I was
What was you
knackered.
do?
I could
What
hardly
job was
even
you? Do you
speak.
mind indulging? What job was you doing then?
No, of course not. Of course not. I trained as a plumbing and heating engineer. So I was a gas
Ah,
engineer. Strangely enough, I still got a company, a plumbing and heating company, which actually run itself all the time I boxed. It's
fantastic,
very, so that was
fantastic.
lovely. So that was lovely as well, which helped me. My mum and dad said to me, I don't care what you do in life. Um, they believed I'd be some sort of sportsman, whether it was boxing, football, whatever.
Yeah.
But they said to me, do one thing, go and get a trade behind you, because you can always fall back on your trade if you don't make it. And that's what I've done. Yeah, I bless them. And do you know what? After boxing, okay, I did all right at boxing, but I've still got a business that runs itself, and I poke my nose in there every now and again, and get my whip out, whip a few of the lads every now and again, and bless
Get my
them.
whip
They're,
out.
they're, they're all great, and they work great for me, and it's lovely. So it's
Okay,
good.
so let's rewind. You used to come back. You'd get home from you and Lloyd Hunnigan, 12 o'clock, and you're
Yeah,
absolutely what? Were you broken?
broken. He would break me to the point as well that he'd be saying to me, right, you've got to do 5 mile run in the morning, then come to me. I was picking him up about, so I was picking him up about 10. Okay, and then I was doing 3 hours with him, so I was getting home by about 1, 2. But I'd only just started my business, so I was like, wow, I've got to go to work. So I was going to turn up people's houses, fit them a new boiler at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh my God, you must have been aching.
God, it was hard work, honest,
Oh
honest.
wow. How long was that
But
for? So how
that
long was you training with Lloyd Hunnigan?
probably 6 months, maybe a little bit less, but that was half the reason why I couldn't carry on with it. It was it just I just couldn't do it. I don't think anyone could do it. Not I could do exactly that. I once I'd won, say, the English title, it would have been fantastic for me. But it just got me at the wrong time. He got me as a a real novice as a pro. Obviously, I've never been fought, and he realistically it was just a little bit much for that time. But he
Right.
couldn't sort of function that bit. He
Yeah.
thought that's what you do, which
Right.
that is what you do when you're a full time pro,
Sure.
but not
Sure.
not the beginning.
Yeah.
Bless his cotton
He was
sock.
trying to break you.
Oh, I think he
Bless
was.
him. So, okay, so you moved away from Lloyd Hunnigan and then you found a whole new training camp. Who were they? Who was
I
that?
did. That was brilliant. That worked really well. Strangely enough, the hometown I'm from, obviously Crawley to Crawley. So I spoke to Michael Aldis. Michael Aldis was British and Commonwealth champion, super bantamweight, which
Remember the name?
the
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
lads just only a weight or two below me. So and with him being, he retired quite early. I think he ended up with had a car accident and retired at about 32, 33. So he was only late 30s at the time.
He was in his
So he
prime, to
was
be fair.
still a young man,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was in his prime.
So for me, he was probably walking around at 10 stone, and I was lighter at the time, even though he was lighter at weight. With spar and with I'd learned so much of Michael. Michael, without me actually really realizing that completely, I picked up every single little thing that he had to offer and every
Wow.
little fault. So which was brilliant. It worked a treat.
And you stayed with him, so he continued training you?
Yeah, for a good probably 6 years.
Fantastic. So
Yeah,
that's your
some
camp. That yeah, I wanted to
I
just
would say most of my training, most of my professional career was with Michael Aldis. Yes,
big up Michael.
big up Michael. He's
Big
a
up
good
Michael.
man.
We're
He's a
giving
good
Michael
man.
some love. We're giving Michael some love.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's a
so
good
here we
man.
go. You left Lloyd Hunnigan, so you've now gone to Michael, and you're now actually plying your trade. And by then, you've had what, 5, 6? You've come up to about 10 fights. Let me put up your record, actually, which is something that you thought I didn't have. So he's laughing.
I
Don't
knew
laugh.
you'd have that.
Uh, don't laugh. Let me put it up for you. Hold on a second. That's your
No,
cousin.
okay.
Let's get him off the screen
Okay.
first. So I want to get this up. See if, let's just hope this blinking does do it for me. Considering that it's been playing. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if I can find it. Yay!
Hmm.
There you go. Just in case no one knew, there is you're an orthodox boxer. It's giving me
Yeah,
everything. Peaceful, close your eyes. You don't want to see his age. Stop.
yeah, no, that's it. Keep away from that. They're
Yeah.
lying on there.
Eh?
They're lying on that.
So we're coming back to you. Basically, so you had a great record. Now, your first, do you remember the year that you won your first title? And it wasn't,
No,
was it for
I
the
don't. I
vacant?
don't know any of the years for any of them.
Oh, please don't let me have to tell everybody.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking. So
I got punched in the head for a living. You've got to remember that.
this is not football, okay? We're not using that excuse. Have you not heard the excuses? You've been headering the ball, now you got dementia. And,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
not
right.
saying that lightly because that's what's happening. Boxers, you don't have an excuse because it's called boxing.
Too right.
That's my
Too
stance
right.
and I'm sticking with
That's
it.
it.
No. Okay, so I recall that you fought for the vacant WBO. You remember that? It was vacant. Do you remember why it was vacant?
Yeah.
Who was in that position? Why it was vacant?
I think it was that wasn't my first title. That was my first sort of going on beyond like the English stuff
Yeah,
or the British stuff as such.
yeah.
Okay. Um, Vacant more so the European one of these titles is a bit more of a stepping stone. So the idea for the WBO is to work your way up the rankings to get to the world title. Okay, if you can win the WBO European, I believe it gets you in the top 15.
Yes, it does.
Top 50. Gosh, you know more than me. You should take this interview. I know that. You see, look.
No,
So you
sorry.
get in the top 15 rankings in the WBO in the world.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
you getting to a point where I think if you get into the top 10, you can fight for the world title. So you're getting there.
That's right.
People sometimes keep fighting. If you win the European, they fight more and more for it because it gradually builds you up the rankings. I can't exactly remember why I didn't fight for it again. Probably money again. Everything's about money. And then eventually, obviously, got the big one, which I always wanted, which was the Intercontinental,
That's
which is
right.
the
I think I've
step
got
below the
some.
world.
Bear me a second. This is what I have. Um, if I'm hoping. So you did fight the Intercontinental. And tell me if I've got the right imagery for this. I'm just about to show it.
Sean Ellis for Hellraiser Boxing in partnership with London Live. I'm backstage at the Troxy in Limehouse with the new WBO Intercontinental Featherweight champ, Ben Jones. Ben, how's it going? How did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, do you know what? I did enjoy it. He's a tough lad. I knew he was going to be tough. I watched a lot about him. It was never going to be a easy fight because he's dangerous. And the worst thing that could have happened is he caught me with a silly shot. Just glancing, well, to be honest, it was a little bit off balance. To be honest, he caught me. He's fair, made the cut, so it was a decent shot. But it didn't shock me, which was good. The only shock was obviously that he put me down, which is a real shame, which put me points behind. But yeah, I got back to my boxing. I felt like I was winning the first round, and he caught me with a silly shot.
I mean, tell me about that silly shot, because I didn't get out there, unfortunately, until the 5th round.
That's enough. That was someone else interviewing. How
go.
dare they? I'm interviewing you. But the reason why I'm showing that, and it's so poignant, is because, as you just said, you were building up to that. That's what you wanted. And I'm so glad I found that clip, because there you are. I know you look like you just went 10 rounds with Rocky, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? Oh my
14
God.
Stitches.
That was a hard fight.
Got 14 stitches across my eye.
That was a hard fight, and I didn't know if I was allowed to even show that on here, as I said, because sometimes when you show certain clips, it gets cut sometimes from YouTube or blah blah blah, because it tells you that I've had it a few times, and I'm like, really? So I thought I'll put up how you looked after that grueling fight, and I think if anyone wants to find out more about Ben, just go onto YouTube and you'll see that fight. It was a hard fought fight, but you won that in the end. And as you can say, it's what I wanted, and you got it. And you fought it. I loved it. What was the next step after that fight? What happened next? What next? I know you had to take time back with your family. I've seen lots of photos where you had you've gone into Malaga camp and you train. What's your training regime like? What was your training regime like then?
See, if you gave me 8 to 10 weeks to train, you'd see a real Ben Jones. The problem is what happened in my later years. One of the reasons why I retired, to be honest, was because they would ring me up with decent money and give me 3 weeks, 4 weeks to fight.
You're joking. Behave.
Exactly. And their guy, whoever I was boxing, would have had your 10 weeks camp. Also, they knew damn well that I had to lose the weight and strip down and do things how you do. And that is the reason why, in the end, I retired.
But
Because
you
the
know,
money
even
men, your Eddie Hearns and your
yeah,
Warrens, they'd offer you good money because they want their new up and coming star to beat you because they probably might a decent chance. I've only got 3 or 4 weeks. But
but
you
you
give me 10 weeks and I'd have
fought
beat them.
you had an illustrious career because you fought like from 2009, and you know you've already mentioned you retired in like 2000 what 16 no 2018 wasn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But in that time, you know, I'm hoping I could find that photo. You've had like 4 or 5 different belts. Do you know what I'm saying to
yeah.
you?
I've had
You
5 belts,
fought
yeah.
under. Did you fight under your promoters? You had various different promotions, like Frank
I did.
Maloney.
I, I did, yeah. I started with Matchroom, so it was Barry Hearn.
Okay.
And I did my first 3 or 4, maybe 5 years with them. So my main part of it was with Matchroom. And then as I come out of contract, Frank Maloney obviously poached me, and offered me a fantastic contract. I mean, the contract was unbeatable. I couldn't. Well, put it this way: I got a mortgage on my house and everything with it
I was
at the
gonna
time.
say,
So
right, right,
it was decent. So
yeah,
um, so I went with him. Um, Part of the clip you showed at the beginning was me fighting Lee Selby, ex-world champion.
that's correct. Yeah,
So
yeah,
good fight and very good, well, talented fight. Still going himself now, and I fought him, and then I fought for the English title, and then shamefully, well, not shamefully, that's the wrong word to say, but sadly, in my case, not for him, but sadly for me, Frank Maloney turned into Kelly Maloney
yeah,
and changed his whole thing. That's um, obviously his choice, but obviously for me, it ruined me as a
yeah,
career, my career. Because I had a
yeah,
contract, I was stuck. I was
yeah,
boxing went out the window for him, her,
yeah,
for now. And
yeah.
I was like, wow, where am I going to go from here?
Did
So
you
there was a
find that
little
people weren't touching you because you were under
100%.
Kelly Maloney? I'm going to call it because
Yeah.
that's what she wants to be named now.
Yes, Kelly Malone. Yeah, cool.
And
She's
I'm not
Kelly.
taking anything away from the fact that that's what she wanted to change her gender. She wanted to
Cool.
change her gender, but I remember
Yeah.
when that happened, and I think by then Lennox Lewis had already retired, so I don't think the
Yeah.
knock-on effect for him was that bad. But everybody else that he had under his promotion, um, it's strangely, I didn't think it
We didn't
would.
get it.
But I don't
No,
understand
it
how
wasn't
that
good.
should do that to you
It wasn't
because
good.
tell me this. Do you think that should have happened because people are judging him against you? He's not the boxer, he's just a promoter. So why would that affect you?
Of course.
I mean,
You
we
know
could
what
think
I
like
think as
that.
well with why that. Yeah, well, why that I think that affected me is because I was in my 30s as well, and there was a little bit of a stigma at the time that you're sort of getting to the point of the end of your career. Personally, I'm not coming back, just to let everyone know. But personally, I'm 38 years old now, and believe me, I could do 12 rounds easy now. Still
I
easy
don't
now.
doubt that. I don't doubt that. Look, we've got a lot of 30-year-olds who are now, Anthony Joshua is one of them. You've got a lot of 30-year-olds, 35, 36, still fighting and challenging.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then Bernard Hopkins should have stopped fighting years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Roy Jones, two
Exactly.
absolute superstars,
Should have
and
stopped
they're fighting. Not
fighting.
just fighting, they're
Exactly.
fighting at wealth
Right.
for millions. So they're good enough.
Yeah. But then you
Peter
were good
Pan.
enough.
I am Peter Pan.
Yeah. I'm down with you on the Peter Pan, babe. Don't worry. Okay, so
That's it.
so you felt that there was a downturn because I read somewhere where you said that no disrespect to Kelly Maloney or anybody else, that you felt that leaving Matchroom Boxing was one of your biggest mistake. Did you say that because of the incident, what was happening, or?
No, not really. No, not one of. They were very good to me, Matchroom. When I was with Matchroom, it was Barry Hearn. It wasn't Eddie then. It was Barry. They were very,
Ah,
very good with me.
yeah,
It's a whole different thing, and that's the reason again because Eddie took over. Eddie, I never knew Eddie. I never really got anything. I don't even think I met Eddie as a boxer while I was with his dad. So the half the problem was obviously Kelly and Frank turned into Kelly. So then when I went to go back, I was 31 years old, and they weren't really interested. They had some new up and coming young lads and stuff. They were still on the Olympians and stuff at the time.
Yeah.
I think the Olympics was around at that sort of time as well.
Yeah.
So they were taking all them, and they was thinking, no, I don't really need it. I'm going to start again.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a little bit of a wow. I'm in a where do I go here? My luckiness with it all was I sold a hell of a lot of tickets.
I was going to say.
So I was a promoter's dream. Apart from unless you had Sky Sports and was pumped into money,
Yeah.
it weren't about that to them.
Yeah.
But any of the smaller promoters loved it.
And
They
you
were
all,
like, wow,
that
I
was
can go and
brilliant. Yeah, you did the York Hall. You was at the Troxy. Majority of your fights were down, the York Hall and the Troxy. And for me, that was sawdust, good quality boxing fights. Wicked,
right.
that was proper. It's like you could smell the sweat when you walked into Bethnal Green and York Hall. The Troxy, I've only been a few times, and luckily, before boxing got really massive and Eddie Hearns has started, days and all, even going on to Sky Sports, even with Frank Warren, we used to be able to see on like Channel 5, or ITV boxing. So, the likes of Nassim Hamed and all that. So that's, for me, those were the grassroots of actual boxing, watching the likes of you lot coming up on a screen where, you just can see the best of the best, and you didn't have to actually keep paying for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Sorry to say that, but it's the truth.
True.
But, here you are, you're saying up until 31. How many belts did you win in that time?
I think by 31, I'd only won 2. I think I'd only won 2.
That's right.
I'd only won 2, but I was there or thereabouts in the top 2 or 3 in Britain. So it was all about. I mean, obviously as well, if you're top 2 or 3 in Britain, you could be in the top 20, 50 in the world. You could be right up there, because Britain's got some fantastic fighters.
Absolutely.
So it was an awkward timing with everything, considering Eddie hadn't quite made it at that time. He hadn't quite made these superstars as he is now.
Yeah.
If it would have been like now, and I put me into the world title fight straight away.
Absolutely.
But so I was lucky. I there was a up and coming Brighton promoter, which is Sussex Brighton. So I said to him at first, I'll tell you what, if you get me, it was for the IBO title. So if you get me a paper title, he said, Ben, they cost a fortune. He said, they're like, it probably cost me 10 grand to get the title on. I said, don't worry about it. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll do a deal. He goes, okay. I said, we'll pay for the title fight, so that's £10,000. Okay. I said, and we'll go 50-50 on the tickets that I sell. He said, okay. Well, I sold him about 23 grand's worth of tickets, so he didn't do too bad. So we went 50-50, so we paid his money off and we sorted it out. So,
oh my God.
So I done well too.
I think I saw the poster for that. There's a wicked poster of you. Valerie, I should really slap myself. I normally have these little posters. I do have this though. I've got all these different pictures. That's not the one. Let's see if I can get my images. I think this image just likes to be coming up. Sorry, don't watch it. Woohoo!
There you go. So that's that one. There is the WBO European.
That's right.
And the lad behind me is Michael Aldis.
That's right.
Okay.
I remember Michael Aldis was just a bad boy fighter. Come on. He really
great.
was.
Great fighter. British and Commonwealth champion. Fantastic. Yeah, was a man that was done my amateur boxing club. So he's a very talented amateur boxing club trainer.
Okay.
Name's Paul Devlin. Very, very good and still around the scenes now.
Oh right.
I think he's even got a lad called James Beaton that's in the pro ranks as well. So he's a very knowledgeable trainer.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to do my homework and have a look at him.
Two cracking guys to work together.
I'll do my homework and have a look at him. That's oh right,
That's
okay. Yeah, Michael Aldis, I remember that. Okay, so here we are. We've come up to like where we are now. You've had 2 titles. You've had some cracking fights. I'm going to name some of them without anyone. Some people are going to go, who? What? But you fought people like Jamie Spate, Stephen Smith, um, obviously Lee Selby, Jordan Vasiliev, um,
Yeah.
massive, Jesus Rios, Carlos Osorias, Jason Cunningham, Reese Bellotti. You fought a whole bag of fighters. As I said, I could just keep listing and listing. I think your last pro fight was with Reese Bellotti, wasn't it? Reese Bellotti
It
was your
was,
last
yeah.
fight. You know.
Do you know what? I've got nothing against Reece. Reece is a cracking little fighter.
Yeah.
I think he caught me at the right time. And personally, this is no disrespect to Reece because Reece is a good fighter.
Yes, he is.
I was given 3.5 weeks' notice
Again?
to fight, which I'm happy to do. Again, that's one of the reasons why I retired. I struggled to get the weight down. I actually went out to Thailand for the training camp, knowing it was so hot. I'm going to be able to sweat it all out.
Sorry, I
So
don't mean to
I went out for
laugh.
my training camp in Thailand.
Yeah.
So I went out there. I went out for 10 days to absolutely, well, basically lose everything, and it was a struggle, huge struggle. And to be honest, it wasn't nowhere close to being the best of me. You put me when I was 31 years old, and give me 10 weeks. There's no chance in my eyes. But every boxer's going to say that. So good luck to Reece, and I hope Reece Bellotti goes and wins world titles.
Yeah.
He's had a few mistakes in the last few fights and stuff,
yes.
and I really hope he does.
Yeah.
But that's not his fault. This is management. This is clever management.
Well,
And
you
that's
see,
why I say it's good.
it's mad. So you retired. Here you go. Okay. You've had an illustrious career. Everyone has seen your record. You've won 2 titles. Where did you get that? Before we come off that, just and talk to where you are now. Where did the name Duracell come from, and who tagged you that?
Right. Well, we mentioned earlier about me being a hyperactive child and did every sport under the sun. My mum knew I had ADHD, so I've got ADHD. I've got problems. I had problems with being hyperactive.
Right.
And sport helped me.
Yeah.
If I didn't have sport, I would have been trouble to a point I couldn't learn. I was at school and couldn't learn unless I'd done 3 hours of sport every day. So I had to do it. Everyone used to say to me, "You're going to burn yourself out. You can't do that." Well, I can do 3, 4, 5 hours now still. So I haven't burned myself out, and I'm over the hill, as everyone keeps saying.
No, you're not. No,
So
you're
I'm
not.
doing too bad.
Don't listen to
not
them.
doing
Don't
too
listen
bad.
to them, Ben. Don't listen to them. But you know what I
True,
love is the fact
true.
that you've shared that ADHD. I think for a long time, people thought it was an excuse when someone kept telling them that their children had ADHD, but it's not. It is a condition. And I have friends who actually are clinicians in that subject. And I love what you've just said, that if you didn't have sports, so for anyone listening, listen to what Ben just said. If you have ADHD, sports is a very good thing to be able to do because it eats that energy up. A lot of people don't realize that ADHD makes you feel like a Duracell bunny.
There you go. And that's what my mum that come up with the name Duracell Jones.
Oh,
Because
wow.
I was hyperactive.
I thought I just coined it while I was saying it. That is amazing. Do you know what I mean? Thank you for sharing that that you've had well, you don't just get rid of ADHD. It stays with you. It's just how you manage it. It's how you actually manage it.
Yeah. As I've got older, I can manage it even better. But I probably don't need to burn as much energy off to get myself to that. But when I was at school, I literally, there was a point I went to secondary school and my school understood, they didn't really understand ADHD, but they understood that I was a hyperactive child. So they said to me to get to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. So my mum used to get me to school. I live quite far away from my school, so she had to drive me to school 8 o'clock in the morning, and I went on a half an hour, 45-minute run nearly every morning. And then I was allowed to shower up, and I was allowed to get to school late. So to me, it was a bonus. So our school started at 8:30, and I'd get to school at 9 because the teacher had brought me in. So to me, I was thinking that I was getting an extra benefit from being I don't have to go to assembly or something like that, you see.
Yeah.
But what they were doing, whether they knew they were doing it or not, but what they were doing was getting that energy out so I could actually control myself to the afternoon. By the afternoon, I was hyper again, and I needed PE to sort me out.
ADHD actually became a recognised diagnosis, I think, in the mid 2013, or I would say probably 2009. It actually became a recognised. I can't. Oh, where have you gone? Where's Ben gone?
Oh, I'm back. I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back. And my battery's going on.
Yeah. I mean, we won't harp on too much on the subject, but teachers kept thinking that you were just hyperactive. But now people can...
Or naughty child.
Yeah, naughty, and they tag you and it sticks with you, doesn't it? But I'm glad that you you found a way to deal with it, which was sports. And now, I'm sorry, I had to ask you where Duracell came from. But you've come to the end of your career, and lo and behold, when you decided to call it a day, did you already have something in mind what you wanted to do? What was the crossroads like? And how difficult was it to actually just say, I'm done here?
I was very, very lucky. As we touched on it earlier, I said that I started a plumbing and heating business before I was a professional. So I started it. When I turned professional, it ran itself. So I always had something to fall back on, as I was talking about, as my mum and dad wished me to do. So I've come out of boxing. I always had my plumbing and heating business if I wanted to. I don't want to. So what I've done, yeah, but it still runs, so it still makes me money, and it's nice. But my dad's a builder and built houses, and so did I, even through my. So luckily enough, I've carried on doing a bit of building, and sort of made some money from the side from obviously some of the money from my boxing helped me to buy like lots of land and stuff like that, so I can build and I can carry on with my career. So also on the other side of that as well, I got touch with a local gym that used to be my old amateur coach. He's got a new gym somewhere, and I go and train the kids and the adults, and I get right involved with the amateur side, so I give back that way. So it burns my energy too. So
and that's what I was going to ask you, because I see that you're now a personal trainer. I'm hoping I've got that. It's not hoping. I know I've got the video. Just got to make sure I play it. Don't laugh. We've already had gremlins today, but I think I've done not too bad. Let's hope I've got
Sean Ellis for Hellraiser Boxing in partnership with London Live. I'm backstage at the truck.
See, I'm hoping I've got it. Please tell me I've got it. If not, it's bang on my other computer, but...
Sean Ellis for Hellraiser Boxing in partnership with London Live. I'm backstage at the Troxy in Limehouse with the new WBO Intercontinental Featherweight Champ, Ben Jones. Ben, how's it going? How did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, doesn't like it. I put it in to see if it would play, but it doesn't like it. That's a bummer, because I've got you where you've been doing your training. Really, really good. Let me try to get... Here we go. I knew I had it. Yay! Hey!
My name's Ben Duracell Jones. I'm an
this is where I was doing an everyday workout for people in lockdown.
That's right. That's right.
I
train
a lot of children. On the nice side of
Ben Duracell Jones.
what I'm doing is I train children that actually are too young to be even in a boxing gym.
Right.
So basically, boxing, you're allowed to start boxing probably between, sort of about 9 years old is about the right age. Well, there's some kids out there that they've got nothing they can do, but they're 6-year-olds. So I don't mind taking the 6-year-olds, and you can't have a 6-year-olds in too many groups. You've got to be really under control of them because their attention span's very little. So I've been training a few 6-year-olds. And do you know what? Week in, week out, you want to see the benefits you get from these kids, and they love it. Honestly, it's great.
I could
Great
just
fun.
imagine. I really, really could. And is that how long you've been
And
doing that
for
for?
me,
Is that
that's
through
giving back.
lockdown?
I enjoy it.
Sorry?
I can't do it through lockdown, obviously, because of
Yeah, that's what I was going to
it's
say.
indoors. If it's outdoors, I can do it. It's very difficult. But just before lockdown, I was doing my one-on-ones, and these kids are loving it. But I'm still getting videos from their mum saying, "Oh, he's learning the ski. If he could do this." These are kids that are. It's a new channel for them. It's great. What perfect way of giving back.
And and I can imagine, because then you can see the energy on their faces. And it gets them out of trouble for a start. Do you find boxing, for me, when I do go and box, down the east where I am in East London. There's a gym that I go to, and the guy that trains me is amazing, and I found that it relieved a lot of stress. It made me focus. If I knew that I was feeling really, really crap, I knew that I could just go and hit the punch bag. But it's disciplined as well. Yeah, honestly. But I found that it gave discipline. So I can imagine that you doing that with the children must be truly amazing, because people don't realize how excellent. You don't have to be thinking about punching someone's brains out. It's just the fun of doing those movements, and do you know what I mean? Knowing that you can actually box. And for me, it's the impact it has on your body as well. Do you know what I mean? So I kudos to you, Ben. You, apart from the children, I know you do a lot of things for charity, and for me, again, I thought that's just a beautiful thing that you do. And I'm again, anyhow, this bloody video doesn't play, I'm absolutely just going to stop this whole interview and I'm walking away, right? So I'm going to be very upset if it bloody doesn't play. And she said bloody online.
I'm here today with Chris Wing at the Sussex MS Centre. I've been offered a challenge to push him around in a wheelchair. For every hour I push him, he's going to spar me for a minute. And I'm accepting the challenge.
Thank you,
on
Ben.
behalf of this great charity. And I love to make a massive awareness for MS, especially all over Britain and Sussex, all over the world.
Oh,
Brilliant.
How much did you raise?
Like it. I can't remember exactly, but I think we raised about $4,500 for MS.
And how long did he spar you for? How many sparrings did you get out of him? What did you have to do?
You know what, we did it, and I brought Neil Razor Ruddock involved. He got involved. George Gilby from Gogglebox, and it was great fun.
Oh, I love that.
Send you the video.
Yeah,
it's real good fun.
Send it to me, because then I can put it, because we've got a new website. Because we're doing a full relaunch of our new website in a couple of weeks, so you'll be highlighted on it where you've come on. So that'd be awesome. Then I can talk about all the charities, because it's not just MS.
I've got a strange thing about that guy that I was talking to.
Oh yeah,
his name's Chris Wing. The fellow who was I was talking to in that video.
Yeah,
he was 18 stone when I met him. Okay, because he's got progressive MS, which is means if he gets a symptom or a problem, say his arm stops working, he can't get it back. It's the end of. Okay. Well, to me, I look at everything on a positive. He looked at everything on a negative because he was told by doctors it was negative. He was progressive MS. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to say one thing to everybody that's listening. I am no doctor. I'm positive. So what I said to him is, let's give you a chance. Let's try. And he said, but it can't work, Ben. I've got progressive MS. I said, okay, so does that mean you don't want to try? And he said, no, I want to try. I'll try with you. Okay, the man now from 18 stone is 13 stone.
Woo!
Okay, the man, there you go. There's one. That's amazing. Okay, the man couldn't lift his his right arm, more than 3 times in the air. He can now lift 20 kilos, 20 reps constantly.
What?
The man was borderline being in a wheelchair, and they said to him he'll be in a wheelchair very soon. He can run. He can't just walk, he can run. Because I've strengthened his core to make him do core work and strengthen him as a person. And I said to him, just don't give up. Just keep pushing. He goes to the gym every single day and the man can run. And do you know what? The saddest thing about it is the MS Society don't want to know. They don't want to know because he's an achiever that you can achieve something without.
That's
he's got
amazing.
Every bit of paperwork to say what he's got.
Yeah.
He's got progressive MS. They say that's the end, basically the end of the line.
Yeah.
Well, he just showed that you can actually live a new life.
They gave up. They gave up on him. They gave up on him, Ben.
He gave up on himself. Yeah, and he gave up on himself. And now he sleeps for 8 hours. He had 3 hours sleep every night. Now he sleeps for 8 hours. He has a normal life. Good on him.
Oh my God, I'm applauding you and I'm applauding him.
For a while, but how good is he? Amazing work. And that is what needs to be, everybody out there that gets told they're on, that it's over the thing, be positive, because you know what? You can do it. Everybody can do something.
I love you. There's more that I want to tell everybody. Tell me this. With him, it's not just him. You do a lot of other charity works. Can you name a couple that you've been involved in? Because you've just done amazing. I know you've done a football charity with Crawley Town. I think you did. How much did you raise with these guys when they played against Blackpool? What was that?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. My phone's on. My last 10%.
Oh no, we're nearly done.
That's right. That's the guy with MS. If you see him, he's in a wheelchair there.
Yes.
So he was borderline a wheelchair, and the man can run now. He's a big guy there, but actually, I'd love to show you a picture of him now. He can run and everything.
Oh my word!
I do a lot of football charity. I played a big match, which is for Action for Children and the Brain Tumour charity. I do Peterborough. I do all different children's charities. A lot of it's football. I link a lot with football, so it's nice. I walk around all my belts and I show everyone that. But then I go and play 90 minutes of football and enjoy that. So I've got a bit of everything, So you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm going to try and catch you before your battery dies.
Just to put his name in the thing. George Gilby tried ringing me from Googlebox.
George Gilby from Googlebox. Ben is online with Val. If you want us on Googlebox, you need me and Ben together. You need to butt out for 2 seconds. It's my turn.
Listen, so I get involved with so many charities and so many different things.
Yes, you do. You're a motivational speaker.
I do all this. I do. I'm very positive. So I do positive speaking. I talk about my boxing career. I also show people about. People don't understand as well what you go through as a boxer with weighing in and you losing weight and that sort of things. And a lot of my talks that I do, dinners and stuff like that, people were shocked and they did not believe that boxing was actually like that. But I let out the secrets. It's fun, that's the good thing.
I'm glad you did. I'm really glad you did. As much as I could sit here and talk for you for another 2 hours and then your battery dies on me. Let's just quickly grab onto, you were motivated. You've got a beautiful office of, I think that is Sugar Ray Leonard. You've got Rocky Bilbao, but Rocky's an inspiration. Just quickly, just pan around in that room so people can just quickly see.
Yeah. Oh! We got, see, there's Sugar Ray
Sugar Ray Leonard?
Rocky.
Why?
He's my hero. He's my hero. He was my growing up hero. So there's more. There's
And then your
more
belts.
going through.
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Going through.
yeah.
There's the ugly bloke. He's a legend.
Oh, ledge. I do love your office. I love your office.
You can't beat that.
Yeah,
So there you go.
I'm honest to God. You know, any final words of inspiration you want to offer out to the young, the old? I do know you've got your cousin Byron that's now boxing in the gym. I did show his photo up not too long ago. There he is. Before we jump out, as I said, I don't want to lose you. Hope you haven't gone. Oh, there you go. Before you go.
Again.
Oh no, I'm trying to rush everything here.
Yeah.
But before you go, thank you for coming on. Tell me, inspiring, what have you got to tell anyone, especially that we're in lockdown and know a lot of people aren't coping? What words of wisdom can you offer them?
My thing for, especially for lockdown and anything in sport and anything in life, be positive, because do you know what? Everything is humanly possible. We can make it work. You can say I can't, but actually you can. I train people constantly. So I can't do that. I said, just try. And do you know what? They do it. And I said, you told me you can't. And they say, I didn't think I could. I said, because you said you can't. You can. Everyone, if it's humanly possible, we can do it. Make it work.
Love
positive.
Ben. Please, guys. His Instagram is Ben Jones Boxer. Check him out on Instagram. He does workouts, and even if the workouts have stopped, you can still find them online, and you can do a week workout with Ben, which is still running to this day. I will put this up onto the website for anybody else. Ben goes around to school. He goes to various football clubs. He gets involved in charity. If you want Ben to become and inspire your children of today, please reach out to Ben Duracell Jones. He's also on Twitter as Ben Jones. Oh, is it Ben Duracell Jones? He's also here on Facebook.
I think it's Ben Jones Boxer.
There you go. Ben Jones Boxer. Please hit him up. I did, and I'm going to say this. I saw him. Loved watching him. I said, should I? Did I? Yes, I did. I made the proposal. He said yes. Makes it sound like I'm getting married to you, but I felt like I am today.
We could do. You talked about. We said no marriage.
We did it. We did, didn't we? Oh my God! Sorry, wifey, but there might be number 2 here. Nobody joking. To your kids and everybody else, you took your time out today. Thank you for sharing. And I will, if we can, let's hit back after COVID. After lockdown, let's get together. Let's do an Instagram live and talk about life after COVID and what you're doing now. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. We've got a deal, and I'll hit up Jordan and tell him thank you so much. To your management, Black Bear PR and management, thank you so much for hooking me up with the wonderful, wonderful Ben Duracell Jones. Any last words before I say bye?
Just to say to anyone, bye. If anyone wants to contact me, give me a message. I'll get back to everybody. So everybody in time, I will get back to you. And if you ask me any questions, I'll let you know.
Thank you. I'm honoured you actually answered mine. And I told you my interviews are very different. I wanted to see you, have a laugh. Come on today, and I've ended it with the positivity of what you are doing now. Ben, former English super featherweight champion, Ben Duracell Jones, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Keep positive.
Oh, absolutely. You've definitely put a spring in my step for me today. Thank you so much. Take care.
Good. Thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. So that was my lovely, lovely Ben. It was a sports. Oh, there is he still there? I'm saying bye to everybody.
I'm still back. Sorry.
Okay. Doesn't matter. Hope everybody is having a blessed weekend. I know it's the late sports edition, and as far as I'm concerned, it's never too late to talk to anyone in sports, whether they're still playing now, whether they're still boxing now, whether they're still presenting now. It doesn't really matter. the people that come on to the Saturday sports shows, or maybe on a Sunday, are all people that I think are inspiring. And there's nothing less, nothing more. So I hope people can take something out of what our show was today. With that said, I'm off to go and find out what the results was of Arsenal Man United. I haven't had a lot of people, let's see who's saying that to me. I haven't had a lot of people saying anything too derogatory about Arsenal, so they may be winning. I hope not. But anyway, have a great weekend, and join me next week. Before I go, I just want to let you know that as of February, there's a new trailer coming up. It's 14 days of the Love Zone Corner. It's a surprise, and I hope that people are going to embrace it. 14 days of the Love Corner starts next week. Ooh, we need some love. We need to bring some love into the house. Anyway, that's me, Valerie M. Mwah, mwah. Sending positive affirmations to everyone in the world. Good night, and God bless you.